Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today. I have in studio, obviously, myself, Chris Williams, licensed marriage and family therapist. Also,
I hope so. You're talking.
Right, I'm talking. So also licensed marriage and family therapist, JJ West. How you doing, JJ?
I'm doing great, Chris. Good to be on with you.
Great to hear your voice, man. And also licensed psychologist, doctor, the good doctor, Jill Hubbard.
Hello, guys.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Okay, Jill. What's on your mind today? Talk to us.
Okay, well, I am going to take a risk here, Chris.
Okay.
And I am going...
I like risks.
I know. Okay, so I'm a little anxious, but I'm going to talk about the P word.
Okay.
Okay. Politics.
Okay, here we go. Let's
get
in the
hold
deep
on
end.
to your seats. Okay. So I'm talking about political prowess and posture. And so, first of all, I'm not, I know this is controversial. And so I'm not talking about a certain candidate or, specific positions.
Like a side of the aisle or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about as Christians, how do we approach this? And people have opinions all over the map, and I've been listening a lot. And with today being the debate, I thought we could venture into this a little bit. And that, first of all, we know that Jesus is our Lord and Savior, and the outcome of anything is in his hands. And he does direct the outcomes. It's not always what we want it to be, but we know throughout history that he uses good kings and he uses evil kings to promote his purposes, and his will ultimately is done. So we have to hold on to big picture and remember that when we get into the heat of the battle. As Christians, we are also supposed to be in the world, but not of the world.
Yeah.
I understand there are a lot of Christians just say, you know what, it's so corrupt and evil, I don't want any part of it, I'm just bowing out. And I certainly can appreciate that position. However, I think there is precedence for having, I'm on the P's today, for having a presence in politics, right? And in the beginning of our founding fathers, the clergy were not silent on these matters. All were involved. One thing that I think is important to hold on to is that we are not looking for someone to be righteous to save us. There is no candidate that is righteous enough to save us.
Yes.
And it is not in their righteousness that we are casting our vote. And that's important, that God uses very flawed human beings. And a lot of times it's, okay, the lesser of two evils. It feels like that. So one posture that you could consider is, okay, I'm not looking to character matters, but that's not what I can base my vote on. But what I can base my vote on is, what do they do? Whether they're good or evil, what do they do? And does it reflect my values? So are their policies more righteous than they are?
Yeah.
And if their policies have some righteousness in them, then that's where I'm going to go with.
That's really, really good. I'm going to actually introduce two more P words.
Okay.
It's called the Petrov Pledge.
Okay.
And I can't get too deep into it, but there was a Soviet defense minister who paused and prayed and stopped nuclear war.
Okay. See, power is in prayer,
yes.
right?
And so
Yes.
I encourage all of us, as we get worked up over the issues in our politics, that the Petrov Pledge says this: I will pause and pray for my enemies before I respond, and still move forward in my politics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for that, Jill. We're going to come back right after this.
Restore gave me strength It gave me more belief in my faith. I met up with a group of women that are going through things that they had no control over.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 1st through the 3rd. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, we are so glad that you are with us. If you are waiting to talk to us, if you're online, please hold on a minute. We'd love to get to your calls. But today is Suicide Prevention Day, and this is so important that we highlight this issue because we value life and we value everyone's life. And so as this is a hidden threat in many people's lives and a devastating reality to too many out there, we want to be able to minister in these places.
Yes.
And so Becky did an incredibly powerful interview with Tracy Hoover, who is a pastor's wife, who talks about her own struggles with her own thoughts and desires around suicide. And so, Terry, we're going to have you play that clip, and then we're going to come back right after for how you can get the help that you need.
I've always had the blues, I say, since I was younger. But it's not so easy once you get married to a pastor. You can't hide away anymore, and you can't hide your feelings because you're in the spotlight. So when we got married, we were ready to have a family, and it was in no time. I was pregnant. We were so excited to have a baby, and I went in for sonogram, and there was no heartbeat. And it sank us. Right after that, my aunt died suddenly. And I was on a flight to Orlando, and I'm feeling like I'm having a heart attack. I said, take me to the emergency room to find out basically I had a gallbladder that wanted to kill me. It was a hard recovery. And while I was recovering, my grandmother died. Then my brother died. He's my only brother. It just overwhelmed me and overtook my whole life. The only thing I could think of is that I don't want to live anymore. I had already told myself when I went to church that day, when I'm going to leave church, I'm going to go to another town. It crosses over a bridge. And I said, I'm going to end this now because I can't do anything tomorrow. I just want to die. I just want to die. There's nothing in me anymore. I felt like I was completely void of feeling. And I got to that place in the road, and I had my hands on the steering wheel, and my hands wouldn't even turn the wheel. And I was so angry. How did that happen? How am I here now, and how am I not dead? So I say, on the way back, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the road. Well, I get there at the same spot, and I couldn't go. I got back home, and where do you start? I didn't know what to do. How do you tell people in church, oh, my gosh, I just tried to kill myself? They don't expect pastors' wives to say that or feel that or express that. We're not supposed to have the feelings, but I did, and there was no way I could hide it anymore. And started working with counseling. Then you get into the medicine part of it, and that's where everybody starts going, oh, taking those pills, taking those medications, taking all that. You can pray about that, God could deliver you from that. And all. No, my brain was broke. My heart was broke. My physical health from my surgery, my body was broken down. I needed any help I could get. And I thank God that there are medicines and that there are those outlets and ways that can get you back on track. I will never tell someone, oh, you don't need to take anything. No, you need to see a physician. And slowly but surely, I started coming around with the medicine, with talking with a counselor. But it really came to a point of where I figured out what I had to do first. I had to get closer to God. I had to start diving into His Word, because when I was at my lowest, I've really learned I didn't have that groundwork that I thought I had. I needed to dig in deeper, and I needed to disciple myself a lot better than I had been. This is what I tell myself even on days when I have a down day. You've got to do one thing. I've got to take a bath, or I've got to talk to someone. You have to do something. Call someone, or just get up and go outside and take a walk. Anything you can do like that at all. And have those verses and that connection and that discipleship built inside of you, but also have an accountability partner. Have someone that you can always tell anything to. Having someone to just springboard off of and talk to and get those things out of you, because I let so many things stay inside of me because I didn't want to make anyone feel awkward. I didn't want to put, my worries on anyone else. We're all here to help each other.
How true is that? That we are all here to help each other. And JJ and Jill, I know that in our offices and maybe even in our personal lives, we have encountered and experienced people who have struggled with wanting to take their own lives. And it's such a monumental struggle. There was 4 things that I heard from Tracy on that really helped. It really sounded like God had intervened in her life, thankfully. And she said she went to counseling. She got the therapy that she needed. She got the medication she needed. She got the medical intervention. She deepened her faith, and she got community, connected to other people. And there's so many times where we hear in so many different avenues of life or circles of life that, well, all you need is medication, or we're going to find the medication for you, or all you need is counseling, or all you need is faith. You just need to pray more, or all you need is a couple people. But the truth of the matter is we need it all. Yeah.
Well, and life is so difficult. I mean, look at all the losses she had in a row. That is bigger than she was. It was more than she could contain alone. And yet the difficulty of her position, where she's in the helping profession, right? Kind of like we all are, where you're giving. And what happens when the bottom falls out in your world?
And how do you struggle with suicidality when you are in a position where you're supposed to have it all together?
Because it takes so much courage and vulnerability. I mean, in her position, right? Like she didn't feel like there was any safe place for her to tell the truth about what was going on inside of her. And she had to break through that wall and share with someone, hey, this is what I'm facing. And over and over in Scripture, right, we're encouraged to view our hardships as joy because it's strengthening us. We're encouraged to, battle through, but we're never encouraged to do that by ourselves.
Yes.
We're never encouraged to do it all by ourselves. I'm so strong I can handle this. No, it's we've got to do it with God's help and in the context of community with others, our faith community. If we're not doing that, we're going to get knocked down because the world is too big for us, without a doubt.
Right. And probably because of her position, she held off telling people, which got her into that state. Now, you don't have to be a pastor's wife or a therapist, right?
Or
to feel like you need to have it all together. There's a lot of people that just feel like
I
that.
think
They're
we
a parent.
We all do to a greater or lesser degree.
Yes, exactly. We all have a little bit of pride and shame, right?
Yeah.
And so in holding it all together, we hesitate to share the depth of our pain with others.
Well, I just want to let our listeners know out there that right now, if you are feeling these thoughts, if you're like, I don't want to be here anymore, I don't want to live anymore, or and all it has to be is a thought, I want you to give us a call. Give us a call right now. Give us a call today, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we can connect you to helpful resources that can help relieve your suffering and help keep you safe until you get the help that you need. So again, if you're feeling suicidal, give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you know someone that you suspect is suicidal, you can visit us at newlife.com. There is an article that reads what to do when someone is suicidal. And so again, you can go to newlife.com/what to do when someone is suicidal, and that will take you to an article that can be very helpful because it can feel overwhelming and helpless when we're around someone or our loved one is feeling suicidal. If the other thing is that we know, as this is a tragic reality, that if you have lost someone to suicide, we have a New Life Perspective CD that you can order by Steve and Jill called Getting Beyond Suicide. And again, it is a helpful resource to guide us in the way. And lastly, there's another article, What to Do When You Lose a Loved One to Suicide. All of those are resources that we have. That one happens to be at liferecoverygroups.com. Again, What to Do When You Lose Someone to Suicide. This is a big, tragic issue that has a deep impact on us. We want to be with you, and we want to be part of the solution, whether that be on the preventative side or on the recovery side. Yeah. So very important. Again, if you need to connect to a therapist, again, give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And we just are so grateful for Tracy for being vulnerable and sharing her story that can encourage and lead us through her vulnerability and her honesty. All right, guys, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Phil in Boise, Idaho, who listens on the internet. Phil, what's going on today? Talk to us, man.
I called you guys, I guess it must be about 5 or 6 years ago, with the same kind of issue I'm going through now. But what I've done now is, after it's been about 9 months, I stopped hitting myself to try to make my wife happy, because that's what she would not feel happy until she saw that I suffered pain with her. And then I was doing that for over 40 years, and then I stopped it off and on probably hundreds of times, but I always went back. But it's been 9 months now, and I'm not living with her right now, because when I'm there, she kind of wants to go right back into the same stuff. So I'm just wondering how if it's okay not to be at the house, to be away, and I need to get some kind of counseling, and I'm looking for help.
Yes. Oh, that's a great question, Phil. First off, I am so sorry that you have been suffering this long. And I just want to, for those of us that feel a resonance with your story, I just want us to start with this truth, that two suffering people don't make one of them not suffer. We oftentimes say two sick people don't make one well, right? So,
but one sick person does want to offload their pain onto another person.
Yes.
Right? With the hopes of relieving themselves. It just doesn't really work.
There is a contagion to it.
She's been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and she doesn't take her medication.
I'm so sorry, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Absolutely. So, JJ, where does Phil go from here?
Yeah, so can I just clarify, Phil, did you say that your wife would want you to hit yourself in order for you to suffer along with her? Did I hear that correctly?
That's what I gained, and I felt like I could, if I did that, she would listen. Otherwise, she wouldn't listen to me. Then when I did it would be okay for a little while, but then the next thing where she got hurt feelings, then I would have to do it again. So
I see.
She kind of wants to get back into that no matter what I do.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, and that I understand. I mean, when you're at that level of desperation, you look for anything to be a solution. But your question of, is it okay for me to not be in that situation, to not be in the home? It's a good question, and I appreciate it, because you're wanting to be a loving, caring, biblical husband. And I appreciate your asking the question. I don't believe that Scripture commands us to be in a situation where we are regularly being abused in any way. So I think it's okay to step out of that situation in order to have a right view of things. When you're in the midst of it, when it feels desperate, you can take on solutions that are not ultimately going to be healthy or helpful. So I do think it's good that you're at least temporarily out of the situation to assess it more fully. You can hear the music, so we're going to have to, after the break, come back and continue the conversation. But the short answer is I think it's okay to be out of the situation, at least temporarily.
Absolutely.
It's a timeout.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So Phil, as was mentioned by JJ, we're going to head to a break right now, but we are going to come back and we are going to give you guidance in this area. I just want to remind everyone else out there, we are actually on Facebook Live, so you can check us out on New Life Ministries with Steve Otterburn on Facebook. We'll be right back.
For the first time in 2 years, I am free, and I can see God's plan for my life. In January, I got out of an emotionally, physically, and sexually abusive marriage. On October 12th, I was 8 months pregnant and went to a doctor's appointment, and they said that my daughter no longer had a heartbeat. I was very angry with God for the marriage that I was in, for the loss of my daughter. Last night, I surrendered my anger, my pain, my frustration, and my bitterness. And I feel for the first time this morning when I woke up that God has an amazing design for my life.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and this is the story of a new life. She took a step of faith, attended a workshop, and now has hope for her future. You can be part of offering hope to others as you step out in faith by donating to New Life Ministries.
To make your tax-deductible gift, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. A lot of people are in bondage from past trauma that has created an emotional web that they don't understand, and it prevents them from being free. A person that loses their temper regularly is not emotionally free. Someone who has anxiety just to get in the car and leave the house is not emotionally free. And walking around with the shame from a childhood or even a bad relationship as an adult, that is not emotional freedom, and we can help you get there.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Online Intensive is Saturday, September 14th. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jackie Mack Harris will present information on the power of our emotions, procrastination, guilt and shame, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are talking with Phil, who's just been in a really, really heartbreaking situation. Wife suffering with a very, very significant and severe mental illness, schizophrenia. And Phil, you've been trying to join her, relieve her, be with her, support her in this, but in doing that are involved in hitting yourself. And JJ, you were kind of guiding him along this way of getting some space.
Yeah. So Phil, in this space, while you're apart, it's going to be important to do a couple of things. Number one, if you're not already, I think it's going to be important for you to be in your own individual therapy to identify what's going on inside of me that solution sounded good. That I looked to that solution and that I stayed with that solution for a while. It's been years, apparently, is what you said. So doing some of that self-work to identify what is it that's going on in me that I don't either view myself as worth protecting, or that I have possibly some obsessive compulsive thing going on where I think as long as I do this, it's going to be okay. So I would encourage you to get into your own therapy. But then two, and this may come through your own therapy, is being able to talk to your wife to say, I'm not willing to be in a relationship with you where, one, you're encouraging me to be self-abusive, and 2, where you're not willing to take the medications that you've been prescribed to help you with your, I think you said paranoid schizophrenia. Because if she's not taking those medications, no amount of talking together, doing therapy together, reading books together, none of that's really going to make a huge dent, because the primary issue is not being addressed. It would be similar to if you were living with an addict and they said, well, I'm just not willing to do anything about my addiction. You just have to put up with it. That's not fair to you. That's not true. And you can say, no, that's a boundary that I'm putting up for myself, that I'm not going to allow myself to be engaged in a relationship with someone who's not willing to practice that level of self-care.
So if I set a boundary that I'm telling her that she has to get medication and therapy before I will move back home, or it's even hard to talk to her, is that a boundary?
Yes. Yeah. To make that crystal clear, Phil,
Yes.
Absolutely. Because
it's okay. That boundary's okay to have.
Yeah.
And Phil, I mean, bless you. You have stayed in this marriage for better or worse. And obviously you love her very much, and that's very commendable. I was thinking at the break, there's a term, it's called folly ado, and it is when we join another person's delusion. And so it slightly fits here, where we join in to, instead of the person getting help, we kind of join in and partner
connect
with them
in the problem. Connect with them in the problem.
Yes.
Right,
And while it feels good to them because they feel understood, you can see, and you're telling us the harm that it has caused you over the years. And it is a delusional world. And so I think everything that the guys are telling you, that JJ is saying, is really important. We need to start with you to get you the perspective and the help so that you don't get sucked back in. And part of that is having that boundary. And I don't know if you have family members that can rally around you as well, to help intervene in encouraging her to follow through on the medication, and that when she's off the medication, she's not the same person.
Yeah, that's really good. Because Phil, the truth is that if she's not getting the help, you're not relating to her. You're only relating to her mental illness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to be clear, so you can have that greater understanding that you're not being mean or cruel or a bad husband, that you are prioritizing your health and your well-being, because if you're not well, nothing around you can be well. So we want to encourage you, get into that therapy, hang on online. We can connect you with a therapist and connect you with the help that you need. And, it's kind of, as you were saying, Jay and Jill, kind of goes back to what was explained in the video that Tracy was saying. She needed counseling. She needed medical intervention.
Sure.
Deepening her faith and people around her.
And this, Phil, is a different way of getting your wife's attention. Instead of joining with her, you're stepping back, and she's going to think that you're being mean and cruel, but you're doing it for her best moving forward, right? To get her attention, to motivate her to get help.
Well, when I do this, she will leave the house, even if she's living by herself, but she'll leave the house and she'll walk the streets for days by herself, middle of the night, all night long, and it's very, very hard.
It is, Phil, but you cannot be her treatment program.
Right.
You are not equipped, designed, nor professionally capable, because this is a very tragic as it is. Paranoid schizophrenia is a very, very severe mental illness. You would never be her treating doctor if she had stage 4 melanoma.
And if she disappears, then you call the police.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Have them
Absolutely.
do a wellness check. Yeah, exactly.
Phil, we are so sorry that you're in this situation, because it really is heartbreaking. It can feel very overwhelming and helpless, but get connected to the help, get support, and so that you can move forward. We're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back, and that will help you kind of start to understand what you need to do for you so that you can be healthier. And as both of you are saying,
right,
that he
and
can make better
probably
decisions.
a NAMI support group.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, National Alliance of Mental Illness Support Group is out there as well. Phil, thank you for calling in. If you're holding, we're going to come back, take more calls.
I'm addicted to oxycodone. I've been on oxycodone almost 3 years.
Addiction affects millions of people every year.
I've been on it for a long time, and I need to get off.
New Life can connect you with some of the finest Christian inpatient treatment programs in the country that work with people from all backgrounds and beliefs.
First, it was for back pain, and I was on it for a long time. And then I currently just had shoulder surgery.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction to illegal or prescription drugs, alcohol, or dealing with an eating disorder, it's time to seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers all around the country.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then become a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today, and we're going to go straight to the phones. We're going to Diane in New York, who listens to us on... Oh, no, we just lost Diane. Sorry about that. We are going to go to Jeremy, listening in Bloomington, Indiana, online. And so... Jeremy, how you doing today? Talk to us, man.
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm doing well now that you're with us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, we are glad that you're with us. And tell us what's going on and how we can help you.
I really need advice because I actually ended up reconnecting with my father this past weekend after 30 years. And I asked him last night why he was not there for me, and his response was, "Why were you not there for me?" And I need advice on what I should do about that, definitely.
Okay, so you were estranged from your father 30 years. Somehow he just pops in. Tell us, give us a little bit of the context here. What happened? How did he pop back into your life?
I actually found out his contact information because I went to the family reunion on Saturday of his side of the family, and they gave me his contact information, and I texted him, and he texted me right back. And then last night, he started in why were you not a part of my life? Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And do you know any of the reasons why he wasn't a part of your life over the last 30 years?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you don't?
Oh, wow. All right.
Okay. And how old are you, Jeremy?
I'm 47, or will be 47 in October. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So at 17, was there a divorce that happened?
I've actually only met him once in my life.
Okay.
And that was from high school graduation. He came back from Florida.
Okay. So he was really
He was never really a part of your life.
He was never really a part of your life. Sounds like there is hurt on both sides. And Jeremy, this man has never really, and I hate to say this, been a father to you. So his position isn't one of being fatherly. And so when you ask him that question, instead of being a father and caring about your feelings, he went directly to his feelings. So there is hurt on both sides. As much as you felt abandoned by him, obviously he personalized and felt like you didn't want him in his life, or that's his excuse for not being around.
Yeah, I have a feeling it was an excuse. I really do.
Yeah.
Right, because it's just a deflection. He didn't answer your question at all. And there's probably, I mean, what good answer could he have for not being around for 30 years
Well, if he's
and
never
barely
in your
involved?
life, it's like, why weren't you in my life? Well, because I was 6 months old and I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And also, he told me last night that they did a DNA test, or he actually said that my mom refused to do like a blood test to prove that he was my father.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that. I really don't.
Yeah.
You don't believe that your mom refused the DNA test?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So he's saying he doesn't
your
even
mom
know
still-
if he's your father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, can I just speak to this for a second? So Jeremy, as a father, I have 2 children. I have a son who's 23 and a daughter who is 19. And I've been in their life from day one. If something happened where I wasn't able to be in their life the way that I want to, I would fight everything in order to get back into their lives. I would do whatever it took on my part to be in their lives because they're my children and I love them, and I want, almost need them to know how much they mean to me. And I'm so sorry that your father has not approached you and approached your relationship that way. I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me as a father. I can't comprehend why any man would choose that path. It doesn't make any sense to me, other than there's brokenness there. There's severe brokenness there. And I would imagine, because you were too young at the time to know, I would imagine that his resistance to accepting you as his son and involving himself in your life has more to do with his relationship with your mom than it has to do with you.
Well,
but you can't fix that for him.
Yeah.
Right. And go ahead.
He actually told me last night that he did not want to be part of my mom or my brothers or any of our family at all.
So Jeremy, let me jump in here. This guy has been a source of pain in your life.
Yes.
He will only continue. What he's shown you clearly is he will only continue to be a source of pain in your life.
Yes.
As JJ was saying, the normal father response is we'll do anything. Parent response, mother response.
Well, he's self-focused.
Yeah. Yeah, he's wrapped totally.
He's only focusing on his feelings and giving you his feelings, Jeremy.
Not mine.
Yeah,
Not mine.
absolutely.
No,
So
I don't think he knows how.
So, Jeremy, I am so sorry that you are re-experiencing a rejection from your father.
Yeah.
But I also want you to know that's the only thing this guy knows how to do.
Yeah.
And so you being able to sever contact with him and to release him and to grieve him will be really, really important.
Well, to realize who he is.
Yes.
And to not expect from him what he doesn't have to give. So I don't know that you have to completely sever contact, but you have to look at him as he's just a guy that donated his DNA to you. And so you're biologically connected, and certainly he can answer those kinds of questions, and you can treat him kind of like a distant uncle, really.
Absolutely.
You know, periodically maybe check in, but realize emotionally the little boy in you is not going to get what he craves.
Absolutely. So, Jeremy, we're going to send you a copy of Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. Jill wrote that book, and it will be an essential guide for you as you walk through this really, really difficult, painful situation. I'd also encourage you, man, jump into some good counseling that can help you process much, much deeper emotions and experiences around the rejection of a parent, because there is little pain like that on planet Earth. So we thank you for calling in, man. We're so sorry that you're experiencing that, and we're going to wish you well as you continue on in your journey. And we're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Melissa in Dallas, Texas, listening on KWRD. Melissa, how you doing today?
Good. Can you guys hear me? My phone just started cutting out.
No, yes,
now.
we can hear you just fine. So talk to us. What's going on and how can we help you?
I'm going to see if I can connect my phone to my car real quick because I cannot hear you guys very well.
Okay.
Just connect to my Bluetooth real quick, and I'll keep talking so you can hear me.
Well,
nonetheless,
well, keep talking to us because we
can hear you.
We can hear you, and we're short on time, so we want to hear what's going on so we can help you.
You know, so I met at church for about 6 months now, and he's got grown children in their 30s. They're my mother and a half, and I haven't met kids. And he's got 2 small grandchildren now as well. A lot of time, his kids.
So Melissa, I hate to jump. Hey, Melissa, can you hear me?
Then,
Melissa.
Starting.
So hold on, we're going to put Melissa on hold until we can get a little bit better connection with her. But with that said, we are this hour. In our live shows, we are on Facebook Live. You can go to our Facebook page, New Life Live with Steve Arterburn, and view our show. And you can also like and share it. That'd be very helpful to us. You can go back to it as well. And so that is one more way to connect with us. We're also
Chris,
going. Go ahead, JJ.
Sorry.
Jump in.
I just wanted to say one more thing. If Jeremy is still listening, or for all the other listeners out there who have been rejected by a parent, especially a father, that when our earthly parent fails us in some way, what we want to do, we're longing for that to be repaired, and it's great if it can happen, but what we ultimately need to do is turn to our Heavenly Father who does not fail us, turn to our Heavenly Father to heal us in those places where we've been wounded and broken by that rejection. And as you were hinting at with Jeremy, to do the grief work needed to say, okay, yes, I had a dream of what I wanted from you, but since that wasn't available to me, I need to grieve the loss of that.
Absolutely. And again, I just want to reiterate, getting guidance in this process is really important. It's part of my life. Checking out Jill's book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, can be so helpful to find the relief and the help that we need. We'll be right back.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We're going to try this again. We're going to try that connection with Melissa. And Melissa, can you hear us well now?
I'm here. Thank you.
Oh, you sound great.
Oh, good.
We love this. All right.
We were sad we lost you.
Yeah. So, Melissa, tell us again, what's happening in your life? How can we help you?
Okay, thank you. I've been dating a man that I met in my church for about 6 months now, and he's got grown children in their 30s. He's been divorced from he's actually been divorced from their mother since 2009, but he has been with her up until about a year and a half ago. And a lot of kind of backstory, a lot of deception involved with that and their mother and their marriage. They thought they were married. They weren't married. He was drinking a long time ago before he, came into his walk with Christ. And so I haven't met his children. He spends a lot of time with them. He has grandchildren now, too. And I haven't been introduced to his children yet. They already expressed their disdain for him dating someone. They wanted them to get back together. Like I said, it's been over a year and a half. They're in their 30s. But I feel like he is, obviously afraid, but also I feel like he's kind of finding his identity and trying to make up for all the things that he did wrong, through his children. And he keeps saying that, there isn't a problem. He wants me to, be a part of his family, but here we are 6 months into it, and I'm still not, and I kind of feel like his kids are like a mistress. And so
okay, so let me ask you a question. When you said there was a lot of deception in his previous marriage, who was doing the deceiving?
Well, it seems like both. They were both going to church. Even their pastors thought they were still married. He was involved, and there's a cultural issue too. His family is Mexican, and they kind of grew up in a drug situation, and he had gone to prison, and that's why they got divorced, because he didn't want things associated if something happened. But they both had separations throughout. They got together when they were 17. So even in their church, everyone thought they were married. Their families thought they were married.
And how would you describe your relationship with him right now?
Strained.
Okay. And you've been dating 6 months.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And just because I see all these patterns, and I don't know that they've been resolved.
Melissa, I hear that you're probably absolutely right. I agree with you. They aren't resolved. But I want you to be aware of what you're walking into. This couple has been together since they were 17. Hispanic family that's very entrenched in family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Regardless of when or why they got divorced, they stayed together until a year and a half ago. And now you're on this. Okay, so that means after 1 year, you're on the scene for 6 months. 6 months is probably still early on for you to be integrated into his family.
Mm-hmm.
There are still things he needs to sort through. So I understand from your position, you're like, come on, let's get this moving. This is going to be a slow process, if at all, because has he dated anyone else in between?
Mm-hmm.
And what help has he gotten?
Well, he hasn't gotten any help. He came to the Lord when he was in prison.
Okay. Yes. And people do that, and that's wonderful. It changes their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But no, there were different times throughout that entire time. I mean, he's 52 years old now, that, he would be with someone else, she would be with someone else.
Okay.
In Mexico, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But the kids never knew it.
Yeah. So, go for it, JJ.
They may or may not have known
Right.
about all of these extramarital relationships. To their knowledge, to this man and his ex-wife, to their knowledge, the kids didn't know, but it's very possible that the kids didn't know something. Melissa, I gotta say, there's enough red flags here that I think it would be wise for you to just take a step back and say, for right now, for the immediate future, let's just focus on our friendship. While you, and whatever his first name is, mystery guy, while you work on tying up some of these loose ends in your life, and there's quite a few, right?
He's still on the mortgage.
Still on the mortgage. So there's financial ties to the ex. There's probably some emotional ties to the ex. There is a need to walk his adult children, through the fact that their mother and his relationship has ended. And what does life look like moving forward before we even introduce a new person into the equation? That needs to take place. He needs to also do some individual work on this pattern of deception where I'm not forthright. I'm not upfront about what's going on in my life with the people around me.
He's still not upfront with what's going on.
That's what I'm saying.
The deception continues.
Yeah, he needs to do that work before he's even ready to be in a relationship with someone.
Yeah, they talked. I mean, they sat their children down. They told them they hadn't been married when he left the house.
But
they had all those talks.
Sure,
they know about me too.
Sure, but Melissa, I got a question for you. How much chaos, uncertainty, and fear do you want in your life?
Yeah, not that much.
Okay, you are inviting truckloads of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One of the things that early romance does is it blinds us to reality and puts us in fantasy. And right now you're in a situation where I want to crush that fantasy for you. Okay? Because you're giving us all of this information, that this is a person who has struggled with substances, been in a chaotic marriage, been unfaithful in the marriage, whether they're divorced or not, because they're acting like a marriage, but not. Kids are probably really upset and untrusting because they've been in an untrustworthy and chaotic environment.
Right.
So,
well, the only constant is that their parents keep coming back together.
Yes.
So that's their pattern. So they're not listening to what their parents say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? This is the family pattern. Mom and dad do their thing, and then they come back around, and we're still a family.
Yes.
So,
and by the way, we're not saying that he could never be a guy who isn't chaotic in your life.
But there's
doesn't bring chaos into your life. But certainly right now, the way things are right now, he comes with a lot of chaos.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like his history, uninterrupted, is undefeated.
Yeah.
And I tell this to couples all the time that are in this dating phase. What you have is what you get. Whatever you have right now, you get married, 5 exit, 10 exit. Right? And that's the thing that we want to break through, these unhealthy patterns and this away from this idealism into reality, because that's what good relationships require. Good relationships require
that. And he's even already talked about marriage, and I'm thinking, if you're talking about marriage to me and I haven't even met your kids.
I know. So Melissa, I don't want you to take your cues from him.
Yeah.
You got to take your cues from you. Right, and that's why I'm saying,
listen to that small voice inside of you.
That's why I'm saying,
those things.
How much chaos do you want? Not how good can he possibly be?
Right.
Because that's an expectation that I'm afraid is going to set you up for, again, a lot of chaos, a lot of heartbreak, and a lot of problems.
Yeah, it already has.
Yeah. All right, so I just say, take a break from it, get some distance. we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. We thank you for being here, being with us. If you're waiting online, we have one more show coming up. We'd love to talk to you. If you want to give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. Thanks for being with us, and be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.